Raider Nation, what's going on? You're watching the Raiders Report, and if you haven't already subscribed to the Raiders Report, make sure you go ahead and do so. We got a lot of news and rumors to cover here. We're going to be talking about Jim Harbaugh, Sean Payton. The Raiders have actually requested to interview a new GM candidate. We're going to break him down a little bit. Did Greg Olson get fired? I've been seeing it all over social media. And we're also going to be talking about the quarterback, Derek Carr, which is where I'm going to start with the show here. There's been some rumors circulating that Derek Carr could potentially be looking at a multiple-year contract extension, and the report is right now that the Raiders are prepared to discuss that extension with DC. Now, the reason why this is popping up is because Carr's in the final year of his current deal, and he's scheduled to make $19.9 million in 2022. He's got a $0 million dead cap hit. Now, when you see stuff like this, my job as a host is to go ahead and give you my 2 cents on whether or not I think that the Raiders should go out and extend him, and we'll talk about that here in a sec. But here's what Adam Schefter had to say on a potential Carr extension. 2022 is scheduled to be the final year of Carr's contract, and there are expected to be contract discussions between Carr and the team this offseason. That has been the plan all along, to address it during the offseason. But there have been so many quarterbacks with speculation linked to Vegas in the past. We heard about Tom Brady. We heard about Russell Wilson. The fact of the matter is, with Derek Carr making his first playoff start, he can take another step in cementing that job. So now this is where you guys make the call. Should the Raiders extend Derek Carr? I want you to go ahead and type E for extend, or I want you to go down to the comments section and type D for don't extend. If you're typing ED, I'm sure you can go ahead and call a doctor for all of your issues. Now, whether or not the Raiders extend him, or if they don't extend him, we're going to be breaking all of that stuff down. And there's a lot to be able to talk about in the offseason. I mean, we just saw literally yesterday, Mike Mayock was fired. We went live, and that's why I tell y'all to hit that sub button, to turn on those notifications, because there will not be another channel on YouTube that keeps you up to date more than the Raiders Report, especially around the silver and black. So turn on your notifications, click that bell. How do you do it? You go to the settings app, scroll on down, tap YouTube, tap notifications, and then turn on allow notifications. I do want to give a special shout out to the people who were the very first 5 commenters on my Mike Mayock video that I released yesterday. Shout out to Ruben, shout out to Phil, shout out to Daddy, Jaden, and then Jay. You guys are a part of the Noti Gang, so if you ever see anybody down in the comments spamming Noti Gang, I appreciate it. Who knows? You might see yourself on a future show. So here's my 2 cents on what the Raiders should do with Derek Carr. I'm saying you absolutely, positively do not extend Derek Carr. It makes absolutely no sense for the Las Vegas Raiders organization to go ahead and do this. You make him play at $19.9 million next season. In my personal opinion, Carr has not earned a contract extension. If Carr sits here and he goes, I want a contract extension, making over $30 million like I've seen rumors being circulated, then you trade him. Has he earned the right to, let's say, I don't know, has he earned the right to come back and play on that deal? Yes, he absolutely has, because the Raiders made the playoffs. However, the numbers that I'm about to show you, if you can honestly sit here and say that he deserves a pay raise, he deserves even more of a dollar amount, I'm going to call you crazy, and I'm going to call you, well, probably a Derek Carr stan. I respect DC, and I love DC, but my job is to make this team better. It's not just all about Derek Carr. So when you look at the last 7 games around Carr, this is also including the playoffs here. He had a 67.0% completion percentage, 1,700 yards, 7 touchdowns, 10 turnovers. If you really extrapolate that for an entire 17-game season, 17 touchdowns, 24 turnovers. All I'm saying is this: I would not give him a pay raise. I would not give him extra years on his contract. I would make him, if the decision to bring him back is this, that you make him play on 19.9. Because, let's just face it, that's just the right thing to do. Now, the next head coach, I really, truly believe, is going to have a say in what Carr's future is. I know Mark Davis has come out and said that he wanted to go ahead and make the move, but Ian Rappaport literally just stated about like a day or two ago that the new head coach is going to have his 2 cents. My thing is this: I want to have my 2 cents, and I want the nation to have their 2 cents as well. Carr earned coming back in 2022, but I really feel like people are starting to get confused. The ideas of, all right, earning the right to come back in 2022, and then the contract extension. Now I'm going to show you a quote that Derek Carr had to say right when the season ended. My goal wasn't to just make the playoffs. It was part of it. But you always have bigger goals and bigger dreams, and you're always trying to achieve more. So for me, it's exciting, but still trying to keep that laser focus on the job at hand. Now, Derek has always said that he would rather retire than to be traded away from the Las Vegas Raiders. My standpoint is this. Derek should not even ask for a contract extension. I get that he wants probably more money or maybe more security, but if you're a person in today's world and you're worried about making only $19.9 million in 2022, personally, that's probably a little bit more of a you problem. And the Carr extension only helps DC. Like, can we not think about that? It only helps DC. You're going to pay him more money, and if you're going to go ahead and pay him $30 million a year, that takes then more money away from you being able to build that offensive line, from you being able to get that wide receiver one, from you being able to put a solid DT. So many people are like, oh, it's not just about Derek Carr, and I get that, and it's not. But if you want to build a more complete team, it makes 100% more sense to have DC on $19.9 million than if you go out. There's no chaos. He balls out. Then I am more than okay to give him that contract extension at the end of next year. But he has not earned it this season. So would you pay Carr $30 million a year? I want you to type Y for yes, or I want you to type N for no, because I really, truly believe if for everyone out there that was typing yes for extend, you better be ready to pay him at least $30 million a year. The latest news and rumors around the Raiders has been who is going to be the next Raiders head coach. Well, we're going to go ahead and we're going to break down some of the people that the Raiders have already gone out and requested, like Rich Bisaccia, Gus Bradley, Leslie Frazier, Todd Bowles, Gerard Mayo. But two names that I'm about to talk about here on the show maybe are the two biggest names that we will talk about in quite some time. Now, personally, I believe the front runner here for the Raiders' next head coaching job is Jim Harbaugh. And if somebody were to ask me what are the chances of him being the next Raiders head coach, I used to say 2 no Chucky heads. Well, now bumping it up to 3 no Chucky heads. I've talked to a source very, very close to this whole situation, and he says this, that he would not be surprised whatsoever if Harbaugh is the next coach of the Silver and Black. Now, when you look at it, the fact that he is the betting odd favorite, not only the betting odd favorite, just like the clear betting odd favorite, Mayock getting fired, that doesn't bode well for Rich Bisaccia, because almost every argument you could have made around Bisaccia staying, I could have said the exact same thing about Mayock. And then there's also been a source that I've been talking to that says Harbaugh is eyeing the Raiders. Now, that source also says the Giants, but the Raiders seem to be in the mix. Now, according to the latest odds out there, here they are. You got Jim Harbaugh at plus 200, Rich Bisaccia at plus 250, Doug Peterson at plus 500, Mike Tomlin, really interesting there. They're at plus 700, Dabo Sweeney at plus 800, and then you got Byron Leftwich, David Shaw, Eric Bieniemy, Todd Bowles. They're sitting there at plus 1,000. And then Sean Payton plus 1,000, Brian Dable, personally, I wish that one was a little bit higher, plus 1,400, Joe Barry and Nathaniel Hackett. But the next name that I'm going to talk about is Sean Payton at plus 1,000 odds, because today on the Cowboys Report, NFL insider Jane Slater, she basically said that Payton might want out of New Orleans, or at least that they're going ahead and looking. And Cowboys Report by Chat Sports. And he said that he would consider the Raiders opening. I mean, you literally saw a tweet come out on, I believe it was Tuesday, that said the Raiders head coaching gig is starting to turn out to be the number one gig among a lot of NFL people out there. Payton, for me personally, man, he would be an absolute slam dunk. Now, the 5 teams that Jane Slater mentioned that Payton could potentially be interested in, the Las Vegas Raiders, the Dallas Cowboys, Chicago Bears, New York Giants, and Seattle Seahawks. All I'm saying is this, for anybody out there that does not think that the Raiders head coaching job is attractive, you are absolutely freaking crazy. Now, we talked about Harbaugh. We talked about Sean Payton. Obviously, right now, the interim head coach for the Las Vegas Raiders is Rich Bisaccia. All I want you to do is this. Who would be the best coach for the Las Vegas Raiders? If you believe it's Jim Harbaugh, I want you to type JH. If you think it's Rich Bisaccia, type RB. If you think it's Sean Payton, type SP. Now, I've been trying to do a lot better job on my Instagram, on my Twitter, on keeping you guys up to date, going on everything with the Las Vegas Raiders. If you haven't already, make sure you follow me, and at any time you want to slide in my DMs, talk Raiders, that's what it's all about. Now, for those of you wondering, all right, Mitch, why the hell should I follow you on Instagram? I already follow you on YouTube. Well, I'm putting more news and rumors out there. Very, very often, in fact. I'm going to start doing a lot more Instagram lives. You guys can DM me whatever you're thinking from something that you see on the show. I also like this. I like when you guys get to know me more personal, right? You get to know my dad. You can get to know my family, my mom, my dog, my girlfriend. Like, you get to know me more personally, and when you get to know me more personally, that makes my bad jokes or the fact that I can't do math, hopefully it makes it, I don't know, a little bit better. And then I do give future shout-outs for people that do continuously hit me up on IG. Now, one of the rumors that were circulating yesterday was around Greg Olson, because I saw somebody, and here's the important thing. If you see something on Twitter trending, look who the tweet is coming from. There was a tweet trending that Greg Olson was leaving the Raiders, and the account name on Twitter was literally @midget_burner. Then I start seeing articles popping up that Greg Olson has been fired. Even though Greg Olson has not been fired, I say he hasn't been fired yet. He has been a very lackluster, a very vanilla type of offensive coordinator, and maybe there's going to be a scenario where like Derek Carr's like, no, I want Ollie, but you also heard a lot of people last season defending Paul Guenther. Paul Guenther was a bad defensive coordinator. Greg Olson is a bad OC, and it is only a matter of time before the Raiders let go of Greg Olson. Now, if you want the Raiders to fire Olson, all I want you to do is like this video right now. YouTube is giving us a whole new feature where I can see who's liking videos and I can see who's not liking videos. So if you watch this show, not only am I going to know that you didn't make it this far in the video, I am also going to know this, that you want Greg Olson around next offseason. The Las Vegas Raiders have the number 22 pick in the 2022 NFL Draft. So coming up here in this video, I'm going to be breaking down some of their potential draft needs and some of the potential players that they could target realistically at number 22. So when I really brainstormed, when I started thinking, all right, what are their biggest draft needs? I have right tackle at number 1. I have defensive tackle sitting there at number 2, wide receiver 3, quarterback at 4, offensive guard at number 5. Now, a lot of stuff can happen because certain moves in free agency, certain trades, certain guys that you end up bringing back in overall free agency in general. Like, these draft needs are going to change a lot this entire offseason. So the top 5 players that I have right now are guys that I actually believe are going to be there at 22. I mentioned right tackle. The top offensive tackle in this year's draft is Neal from Alabama. He's not going to be there. So let's go with Akeem Ekwonu, who can actually play offensive guard. He can play offensive tackle. And I'm trying to cover my bases here. Like, all right, if you need somebody who can play multiple positions, he could be a good guy to keep in mind. Jordan Davis, let's go defensive tackle from Georgia. This dude is just an absolute monster. I mean, you're talking about 6'4", 340 pounds, an absolute just dude in the trenches. He can play in 3-4. He can play in a 4-3 front. So whoever potentially the new DC is, he's going to be a guy to definitely keep in mind. Let's now go to the wide receiver position. I'm going to go with Chris Olave because I really truly believe the Raiders are going to go ahead and they're going to get a top receiver in free agency. Fingers crossed for Devontae Adams. But I don't know if I'm going to take the risk on Jameson Williams because of his injury. Also, I know Garrett Wilson, I have him higher in my rankings, but I don't see him being around at 22. So Chris Olave is a more realistic player at 22 in my personal opinion. Let's go to the quarterback position. Amon Sauce Gardner. Honestly, this could be the guy that goes highest among all the players that you see on screen right now. He's an absolute shutdown corner, and I would tell you right now, I would have more confidence in Gardner being better than Trayvon Mullen right as a rookie right away. But the only reason why I'm doing this is because Casey Hayward is a free agent. If you go ahead and you re-sign Hayward, Gardner Sauce Johnson, or Amon Gardner Sauce doesn't really make that much sense. Let's now go to the quarterback position. Matt Corral. I don't know if you guys noticed, I tried to give you an offensive lineman, a defensive tackle, a wide receiver, a cornerback, and a quarterback. My number 1 quarterback, despite the injury that he suffered in the Sugar Bowl, it's still Corral. I think with his ability with his legs, his arm, I can also understand Kenny Pickett could be an interesting name. But if you decide to go quarterback, those were the top 2 guys in my opinion. Now, those were my 5 guys. And this is the show is all about the interaction. So I want you to go down to the comment section right now. Who should the Raiders draft at pick number 22 in round 1 of the 2022 NFL Draft? Scroll on down. Let me know what you're thinking. Who should the Raiders pick at number 22? And if there's a name that you're like, dude, I can't believe you forgot this guy, that's what this is about. Let me know down in the comments. Now, the Raiders report, what I want you guys to do is hit that sub button, turn on those notifications, and actually, like right before I went live today, I also found out that the Raiders went ahead and they requested another general manager interview. So what does that mean? As it stands right now, the Raiders have requested to interview 3 guys. You got Ed Dodds, You have Dave Ziegler of the Patriots, and now a brand new guy, Trey Brown, who is actually head of college scouting for the Cincinnati Bengals. Now, Trey, I'm going to be honest with you, dude. It was not easy being able to find a picture of you, but you know what? We were able to go ahead and get one. So the fact that they've requested to interview him on the 18th, everything that I've heard, everything that I've read, he's regarded as a sharp, knowledgeable young man who knows a lot about college football, and he's apparently extremely hardworking. He's also impressed ownership. This is the Cincinnati Bengals ownership and past GM interviews. So all I'm going to say is this. It's a sleeper of a name. It's definitely not going to be my top candidate, but the fact that the Raiders are going out and requesting somebody like Brown, the other interviews that they've requested seem like they're putting a lot of heavy favorites and guys who can scout college players, which is what they were hoping from out of somebody like, guess who? Mike Mayock.